All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are live and we are live on Syndicate Sports Detroit. So, welcome to the channel. I don't really expect too many people to be over here because we are just getting this thing started, but I'm excited. I'm excited today. I am sorry, fellas and ladies and fellas. We're going to be a little late today. Looks like the time is going to be 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sorry about that. What's up, Rocker Frog? What's going on? What is happening? Appreciate you for stopping by, man. So I'm sorry that I didn't put this. This was impromptu. I had to go to, my son had a test today that went longer than expected. I had to take him in school. He's in virtual. So we are here. But we got the one person watching. If you guys see this back on playback, this will be a daily show. Our target time is Tuesday. I'm sorry. Our target time is 2 p.m. That seems like that's going to be the time that it is voted for. I got a very crude picture up here. I just had to slap something together real quick as I live stream. So hopefully, eventually, we can get a few people to come over here. But let's get this thing going, man. Let's get this thing going. So we got a few topics today. If we don't have anybody to bounce topics off of, I will just go through a list of topics that I have, and then we hopefully can build the audience a little later. So appreciate the stop by, Rocker Frog. All right, so let me do this real quick because I'm going to record these segments as I go. So let's get this thing started real quick. All right, so the Arizona Cardinals decided, this came through the wire on Saturday night. They decided to part ways with former Detroit Lion Devon Kennard. He was a linebacker that we had, that I believe we drafted some time ago. And the Arizona Cardinals decided, actually, the New York Giants drafted him, and he spent 2 years with the Detroit Lions. So my thing is this. Our defense is so bad. Do you think that Devon Kennard could come back to the Detroit Lions? Now, he spent the last 3 years on the Arizona Cardinals. And his first year there, he got 3 sacks. Last 2 years, not so much. He had a combined tackles 24 in 2021. He had 3 in 2022, and the Arizona Cardinals decided to cut him. Now, his 2 years in Detroit, he had 7 sacks both years. He had 46 combined tackles in 2018 and 58 in 2019. Both had 7 sacks. Now, the reason Devon Kennard was cut is it looks like the Arizona Cardinals asked him to take a pay cut. Now, he signed there in 2020 for a 3-year, $20 million deal. Devon Kennard is 31, so that's kind of a big deal right there. And he hasn't really done much this season. But coming into this year for the Arizona Cardinals, Kennard was scheduled to collect a base salary of $6.75 million from the Cardinals. They asked him to take a pay cut. The revamped offer was $1.2 million. That was, $5.5 million lower than what the Arizona Cardinals originally were going to give him for this year. So my thing is this. Was he a huge factor for our team? I mean, he had 7 sacks. He had 7 sacks before he went to the Cardinals. And with the Giants, all right, in 2024, when he was drafted, he had 4.5 sacks. 2014. I don't know why 2024 is in my head today. In 2014, he had 4.5 sacks. 2015, none. 2016, 1. 2017, 4. And then he came to the Lions in 2018. So 2018, 2019, 7.5 sacks for Devon Kennard, whichever. I don't know how you say it, which one it is. But would you entertain bringing him back to the Detroit Lions? I would. Our defense is horrible right now. We need all the help we can get, and we go face the Dallas Cowboys. Now, if he did come here, we probably would not play him until maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now. But if the price is right, and I don't think he was waived. I think he was cut. So if he was cut, then he can sign with any team. If he was waived, then that means that any team can pick him up. So would you sign Devon Kennard as a free agent? What's up, Zay? Yes, we're going to get there, Zay. We are actually going to get there. So I just went over one segment. We were talking about Devin Kennard. Should we sign him? He is a free agent, I believe. They cut him. He was not waived. So therefore, he can sign to any team he wants to. So that's a little different than him being waived. If he was waived, I would say, hey, let's pick him up. Let's give him the 1 point whatever million, and let's keep that thing moving. So for all my listeners out there, would you sign Devin Kennard to any type of deal to help revamp this defense? All right, now shout out to Zay. Shout out to everybody. Levi is out to the season. Rocker Frog, appreciate that, man. I didn't even know you were a subscriber. So if you see me kind of hear me, this is a very crude thumbnail I just threw together. I wasn't going to get on today, but then I was like, you know what? Let's get on. Let's make this thing. I had a lot of stuff to do today. Looks like the target time will be 2 o'clock. That's a great time because that gives me time to make my video for my other channel and do all that stuff. So I appreciate y'all. Hopefully everything is going good. And when you guys watch this back on playback. Now, Zay, I appreciate you coming in, man, because it was a couple things I wanted to talk about, and Levi Onwuzurike was one of them. So what I'm doing is I'll get better at this as we go along. I'm recording these videos so I can put them up on the channel later. So if you hear me pause for a little bit, I'm trying to work my way around recording. All right. So now we have the question. Found out today through Dan Campbell that Levi Onwuzurike, the 2022 second-round pick, is on injured reserve and is out for the season. Now, you guys know that I have been kind of very critical of Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell and his coaching staff has cost us a ton of games. And we're going to talk about that a little later. But right now, Levi Onwuzurike, the second-round pick, drafted 41st in the 2021 NFL Draft, is out for the season. Last year, he had 15 solo tackles and 1 sack. He hurt his back on the very first play in camp of 2022. And after, I don't know what they were doing with this guy, he had surgery on his back, and now he is out for the season. Again, a second-round pick that is injured. What is Brad Holmes doing? And I think it's time for us to criticize Brad Holmes. Traded up for Jameson Williams. Saw an article that came out earlier this week. Was drafting him with a mistake. Levi Onwuzurike is shaping up to be a mistake. He was a non-factor in 2021, and in 2022, he is out for the season. Right around the time that Josh Paschal is supposed to make his return. So if you haven't seen, Dan Campbell got in front of the media today, and he went over, they asked him about Levi. And Levi has a disc problem. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I'm not sure if this guy will ever be the same. Levi was drafted in the second round, 41st overall. Now, does that number sound familiar to anybody? The 41st pick. Very close to where Josh Paschal was drafted. Josh was drafted with the 46th pick. Another second-round pick that is injured. Zay says, I just hope Jacobs and Paschal can make a difference, and hopefully Kaminsky is ready to go for Dallas. Rocker Frog says, we will do better next game. We're going to talk about that too, because I saw some stuff coming out about when it comes to that today. Now, I have an issue with this. All of Brad Holmes' 2021 draft picks made the team, but how many of them have been factors? How many of them have been factors? Levi Onwuzurike is out for the year. Injured reserve, he's done. And right around this time, Josh Paschal is coming back. Now, from Dan Campbell's press conference today, I'm not sure he'll even be back to play Dallas. I'm not sure. It sounds like he wasn't too sure that Levi was going to be back when he came to Dallas. But it's time to be critical of Brad Holmes because Levi was one of them guys that we need in the middle, and now we don't have him. Paschal, one of them guys that we need in the middle, and we hope to have him. Zay says, agreed. Brad needs to stop with these high upside for the future type of picks with injury history. Plain and simple, I get what he's trying to do. He needs to be held accountable some. Absolutely. He is the man, Zay, that's making those decisions. So he needs to be back. He needs to be accountable. And if you look at the defense, bro, if you look at how the defense, if you watch other NFL games, I swear every team but ours, you see what a defense look like. We go face the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, and their defense is relentless. DeMarcus Lawrence is playing like he just got drafted. We have a pretty decent O-line when it's healthy, even the backups. But these Cowboys, they're not playing around. And we're going to have to, our offensive line is going to have to play great. But if you look and watch other teams and their defenses, you see what a defense is supposed to look like. They were dropping dudes in the backfield, and that can happen with us. And for us to make any type of impact on defense, we got to have the people we drafted. We have to have the players that we drafted. Pascal's coming back. I think Zay, it might have been you, said he was a dog in college. Somebody said it on one of my shows. He was a dog in college. He got to be a dog in the NFL. See, we so quick to ridicule Aiden Hutchinson, right? First round pick. Everybody ready to call him a bust. What about these second round guys? We need them to show up. And Brad Holmes has a responsibility to draft the right players, right? So we got an issue. We got an issue. If we had a good defense, we would be 3-2. That's easy. Frog. Micah is playing like defensive player of the year. We need to double him. Yeah, he was all over the field yesterday. So Levi is out for the year. Maybe that will make room for Pascal. I also heard that Kaminsky might be back as well. So we might get him. I think that Dan is trying to be very coy about who's playing and who's not, because we're underdogs here, and we have to keep as much as we can close to the chest. What's up, Viz? What's going on, man? So should the Detroit Lions, we talked about Devin Kennard, and we talked about Levi. Levi is out for the season, and Josh Pascal is coming hopefully back very soon. Now, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, we're probably going to start these at 2. The goal is to maybe go for an hour, eventually open up the phone lines. I'm going to get a banner. I'm going to get a icon. I'm going to get all of that stuff, an about page and all of that. Today, I wanted to make sure I got on before the game tonight. But stuff comes up with the family. You know how it is. My son had to go to virtual learning. For those of you who are old school, remember the MEP tests and all that stuff. They have a equivalent to that. It's called the MIA. Well, anyway, he had to go in person and take that. So we just got back to that. Any updates on Jamison or Jamo or Swift? Right now, according to Dan Campbell and his press conference today, he said that Swift, he kind of played it coy, bro, but Jamison is further off. I know that for a fact. Expect Amon-Ra to be back because he played at 85%. Swift, hopefully Swift is back. Okay? Now, that brings me to another subject. All right? Let me cue this up real quick because I want to make sure I record this for a video later. So if you're watching this on playback, what you're going to see from this channel, you're going to see live. The purpose of this channel is pretty much 100% live streams, okay, with videos coming later because it's like 2 different type of algorithms, okay? Now, this is something that I heard today. Really don't want to listen to Romo call this game. Honestly, he's worse than Aikman at this point. Yep, and we do because it will be on CBS. Now, somebody asked about DeAndre Swift. And DeAndre Swift should be back, but the man can't stay healthy. He has yet to play an entire NFL season. That's tough to ask for any running back. Any running back, you're running full speed at people. People are landing on you all the time. But it does seem like Swift is a little fragile. And we compared this guy to Kerryon Johnson. And I think the comparisons, y'all, are getting closer and closer and closer. Now, Kerryon is no longer in the league, and I think Swift has a longer life than him because of his talent. However, if he can't stay healthy, then he won't. Now, the Lions, he probably will be here next year. I've even heard some people willing to trade him in a package deal. But I saw this on CBS Sports today, okay, that the Detroit Lions, these are Cam Akers trade rumors, all right? And the Detroit Lions are rumored to be connected to Cam Akers. Now, if you don't know, Cam Akers is going probably to be traded. The Rams and their dirty franchise, Sean McVay said they're trying to work things out. And a couple of days ago, Cam Akers stepped away due to personal, quote-unquote, reasons, right? But now we know insiders and things get out. Things come out. This is the NFL. Sources leak. Things come out. And number 4, according to CBS Sports, a trade destination for Cam Akers is the Detroit Lions. Now, for the 4 people that we have in the chat, appreciate y'all. This is CBS, bro. CBS Sports. Just type in CBS Cam Akers. And this article is from 7 hours ago. I believe there's a little bit of validity to it. I believe it's some type of validity to it. Now check this out. It says Akers' young Rams career has been one of mixed results. After topping 600 rushing yards in a secondary role as a rookie, he tore his Achilles prior to 2021, only to return by Week 18 and serve a prominent role in the postseason. Despite expectations of a larger workload in 2022, he averaged just 3 yards per carry in an inconsistent role during LA's first 5 games. Then he was inactive in Week 6 as the Rams improved to 3-3. Now here is the case. This is kind of critical right here. Still just 23, however, due only $1.9 million on a contract that runs through 2023. He should have a decent market, whether cut or dealt. Now, they have a few teams if he was cut. And the Detroit Lions pop up if he was traded as the number 4 team. Number 1, Broncos. They lost Javonte Williams. Number 2, Falcons. Cordero Patterson is out for 4 weeks. And number 3, the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 4 is the Detroit Lions. For all DeAndre Swift's talent, he's yet to stay healthy headlining Detroit's backfield. And Dan Campbell's team is built to establish the run thanks to both its personnel and coaching staff. Lions general manager Brad Holmes was the Rams director of college scouting when Los Angeles drafted Akers, and an assistant GM Ray Agnew was also the Rams in the Rams front office at the time. So there's 2 connections to Cam Akers. What's up, Matt? Just talking about Cam Akers and his potential to a trade to Detroit. Now, they said he is only due $1.9 million on a contract that runs through next year. So for the 6 folks we have in the chat, and when you watch this on playback, would you trade? How would you feel if we traded for Cam Akers? If we trade for Cam Akers, that means that obviously we have zero faith in DeAndre Swift. We've got Craig Reynolds. We've got Justin Jackson, Jamar Jefferson, Jamal Williams, and DeAndre Swift. That's our running back room. Would I trade for Cam Akers? Yes, Matthew. Cam Akers is likely to be traded. He's likely to be traded because Sean McVay said they were, air quotes, working something out, and he did not play yesterday. So they're trying to be discreet. Matthew says pass. Well, for the people watching the video, let me know. Would you trade, or how would you feel if the Detroit Lions traded for Cam Akers? Could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Probably not. Because we've got Jamar, Justin, Craig. And if we brought in Cam Akers, then he's going to play a big role in this offense. But I don't think that that's going to happen. Now, again, if you're just now joining us, this is probably going to happen at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. That's my bad. I didn't put that on the community post. The vote was we had the most votes between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. And 2 p.m. works much better than 4 p.m. for me. Zay says it could happen, but I wouldn't want it. Matthew says pass. Yeah, I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to make that at all. At all. Now, it's a couple more things I want to talk about, okay? And this is kind of interesting. And both of these things are kind of get tied in together. The Detroit Lions have to go face the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday at Jerry World, a.k.a. AT&T, right? And Dak Prescott came out last night and said he's back. Even this morning, he plans to go against the Detroit Lions. Well, according to Bleacher Report, says Cowboys Dak Prescott is uncertain to play versus Lions despite remarks, says Stephen Jones. Now, that is Jerry Jones' son. If it was up to Dak Prescott, he would have played yesterday. He said he was about at 85% gripping the ball and that he wants to play and he thinks he's going to be back. So they could be playing very coy, very vague here as far as the status of playing for Dak Prescott. But according to Stephen Jones, that's still up in the air. Now, let me see. Okay, Prescott missed the last 5 games. Cooper Rush is now, 4-1 as the starter this year for the Dallas Cowboys. So according to Jones, this is via Logan Mullen of Odyssey. He says, well, that still remains to be seen. Talking about Dak Prescott, his return. Obviously, seeing where Dak is feeling really good about himself. When you read people's quotes, it's tough because it's kind of like they don't talk right. We don't talk right like we should. So then when you read it back, it's weird. That's the most important thing of all this, is that he feels like he can throw the ball the way he needs to throw it to be successful. Certainly we'll see what the week brings and see if he'll be able to be consistent this week with how he feels with that thumb, and we'll go from there. But again, I can't say enough about Cooper Rush. So is this a plot to try to keep the Detroit Lions kind of off base, off kilter? I would rather run Craig Reynolds, says Matt. I think Dak will play. I have a question. Do you think the Miami game will be a good game? I'm going to it. Yeah, it will be. It'll be our first game back for, 3 weeks since a couple games ago. So I think it will be a good game. But probably, Rock, I'm thinking that Tua will be back. Skylar Thompson was hurt yesterday. Teddy Bridgewater was his backup, and then he got hurt, and it was some random dude in there. Some random guy, bro. It's crazy. Don't matter who the QB is, the defense will make them look like all-stars. Well, Matt, that's funny. Funny you say that, bro. Because you know me. You know I like to keep it a buck. You know I like to hold out hope because the season is too quick. The offseason is entirely too long. We talk about shoulda, woulda, coulda, maybe, maybe not, right? And I want to hold out as much hope as I possibly can when it comes to this team. With that being said, game plan for Hill and Waddle, just run fast. Yeah, man. We got to deal with both of them. You know, but the Detroit Lions did play Tyreek Hill back in 2019. It was a different team back then. It was a much different team back then. So, I don't know. At this point, man, should we be scared of anything? Probably not, because we should be scared of everything. But the Detroit Lions, as much as you want to write this season off, it's not over yet. And I'm not talking from a Kool-Aid fan perspective. I'm talking actual facts based on numerical data, Okay, I don't know who Numerica is. Numerical data. The Detroit Lions are not out of it yet. Okay, they can still do something when it comes to anything, wins this season. But you got to win games, right? You can't do anything without winning some games. Because if you keep losing, then it doesn't matter. Now, as the Detroit Lions fan that we all are, right? We are watching the games yesterday, right? We're seeing Aaron Rodgers get throttled by the New York Jets, who also, mind you, are in year 2 of a rebuild, right? When you say the Jets are in year 2, oh, what do you know? The Giants have a first-year head coach, and they got Daniel Jones as their quarterback. The receivers that they were throwing to, other than, like, who were they throwing to yesterday? Saquon Barkley. He didn't ball out yesterday, but they got the job done. Coaching, right? If our coach coached better, then we would have more wins. I can almost guarantee it. We win the Minnesota game. Maybe we get one more. Worst case scenario, we're 3-2. We're right in the thick of things. But that's what this segment is about. The Detroit Lions are right in the thick of things. Now you might be like, Grid, Derek, you crazy, man. How can you say they're right in the thick of things when they're 1-4? Well, because this has been, like I said before, the wonkiest, the absolute craziest NFL season that I can remember watching, right? Now, before Carolina's loss to the LA Rams, the Detroit Lions were the worst team in the NFC. The National Football Conference, the Detroit Lions were 16 out of 16 and a 1-4 record. The Carolina Panthers, with that loss to Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams, who Matthew Stafford threw a pick six, by the way. Love you, Matt. Threw a pick six, still wind up managing to win the game. I think he leads the league this year in interceptions. But that's a whole different topic for a whole different day. But why don't I feel the Detroit Lions season is over yet? Now, obviously, you got to win games, and we have to rely on teams to lose. Thursday night, Washington needed to win. Yesterday, we needed the Jets to win. We needed the Giants to lose. We're in week 6. Why are we even feeling like this? Because that's what we do. But the Detroit Lions are not out of it by any stretch of the imagination, but they have to win games. And it starts this Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. The Detroit Lions currently sit at 1-4. Okay, the division leaders are as follows. It is the Philadelphia Eagles, the Minnesota Vikings, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the San Francisco 49ers, even with the loss yesterday. Now, here's where things get sticky. The NFC East is looking to have 3 teams go to the playoffs. Who would have thought at the beginning of the 2022 season that the NFC Least, nicknamed the NFC Beast now, would have 3 teams going, right? The 5, 6, and 7 are the New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Super Bowl champion LA Rams. Underneath them are the Green Bay Packers outside looking in, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, mind you, these teams I'm about to name are 3-3. Rams, Packers, Falcons, Seahawks. Shout out to the Seahawks. Okay, then we got the New Orleans Saints, the Washington Commanders, who have lost Carson Wentz for 4 to 6 weeks, the Arizona Cardinals, the Chicago Bears. The Detroit Lions have to win games. They have the 4th hardest schedule out of the next 6, the remaining schedule. They've got the 4th hardest. But if they can win games, which is a big if, I'm not picking them to win until they get to 500. But they can. They're not done yet. But it all starts with winning games. Now, keep in mind what I said. The 7th seeded Rams are 3-3 at this point. The Dallas Cowboys are the 6th seed at 4-2, and the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants are 5-1 outside as far as the division leaders go. one win can change this entire thing. If, and I know this is a big if, the Detroit Lions beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday, Cowboys will go to 4-3. Lions will be 2-4. They will then move up. Now, remember, the Chicago Bears, the Arizona Cardinals, the Washington Commanders, and the New Orleans Saints all have 2 wins. And we've played one less game than them. Okay? When we play on Sunday, they will have played 7 games and we'll be at 6. So we get that win. They could very well have 5 losses. If that happens, the Detroit Lions could potentially, okay? Now, I think there's a couple of those teams that are off in week 7. They could jump the Bears, Cardinals, Commanders, and Saints. Speaking of that, let's see what the schedule is for week 7. This is what I do, y'all. I have to live like in these moments because the offseason is just much too long. So I have to look forward to something. Check this out. This Thursday, the Cardinals play the Saints. So those are one of the 2-4 teams that we mentioned. One of those teams will go to 3-4. The other one drops to 2-5. Lions win a game. They move up past that team, right? Falcons play the Bengals, but they're 3-3. Another 2-win NFC team. The Packers go to Washington and play the Commanders, who will be without Carson Wentz. All of a sudden, we beat them anyway. But if we can get that win, they're now 2-5. We're 2-4. They got 1 extra loss. We beat them. That's a game and a half. The Seattle Seahawks go into SoFi and play the LA Chargers. But they beat us anyway, right? And the Chicago Bears, Monday night, a week from today, go host or play the New England Patriots, who are on a 2-game winning streak with Bailey Zappi. So why do I not want to give up on the Detroit Lions? The team has to win because the NFL is crazy right now. There are 2 wins separating the Detroit Lions from the 7th playoff spot. Well, 2.5 if you count, right? We got 12 games left. Our next 4 games are the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins at home, the Packers at home, and the Bears at Soldier Field. That's our next 4 games. If the Detroit Lions can go 2-2, they're 3-5. Right back in the middle. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of losses this week. A lot of losses. Okay? Now, I'm not picking them to win, and I'm not saying they're going to. But what I'm saying is they still have time to save their season. Now, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. This is our first show. Very crude thumbnail, but we going to get this thing. I'm here every day. The target time is 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that'll be, 11 a.m. on the West Coast. We building something special, y'all. We really are. I appreciate y'all. Phone lines will open up. Segments. I'm going to bring in guests via the phone lines, whichever way I can, and we're going to do this thing. I want to give you what I've always wanted to give you, which was an outlet to 97 Won a Ticket. So I appreciate that. With that being said, great first show. I will see you all tomorrow.